again, welcome everyone to our holiday special of AUVSI North Carolina Let's Talk Drones. Again, like Darshan said, we'd like to thank everybody for being here this month and joining us again with a great panel. We've got three individuals in the house, three companies that are with us today that are very unique, and we are so thankful that they agreed to partner with us and answer questions today and spend their Friday like they had nothing else to do. So we're super excited about that. And without further ado, what we'll do is I'm just going to ask each individual to just tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and we'll go from there, and I'll call you out by company. First on the list, we'll just let SenseFly go.
All right, unmuted. Hey, everybody. Thanks again. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting us. And thank you, everybody, for joining. My name is Troy Hiddle. I'm the GM for North America Operations at SenseFly. We make a fixed-wing mapping drone. I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I know we've got a long time to talk. And I'll pass the mic back over to you, Riley.
Awesome. And thank you, Troy, for that. Like Troy said, we do have plenty of time today. We'll try to sweet talk Darshan if it gets low or we kind of finish up. Maybe we'll end a little early. We'll see. But next up, we'll go with Pix4D.
Riley, Darshan, thanks for having me today. Chris Cressy with Pix4D. I manage our U.S. operations. Pix4D is probably the premier photogrammetry mapping modeling software for drones, founded in 2011. And here in the U.S., I manage our sales, training, and support team for the U.S. and Canada.
All right, thank you. And last but not least, Parrot.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you very much for having me. My name is FX, François Xavier, but too French and too long, so people call me FX. I'm the regional sales manager for Parrot in the Americas. I've been quite a long time with the company, 10 years. I've been in previous roles in marketing in France and then in charge of Middle East and Africa. And it's been now 3 years that I'm in the US, based in Florida, in charge of our business for the Americas. Very happy to be here today and very happy to see Troy and Chris with us too. Darshan, thank you very much for having us.
All right, thank you very much, FX. And again, to talk before we get started, just like Darshan said, we're very fortunate today, and we're calling this our holiday special because we've got a lot of cool stuff to give away. So without further ado, Dash, do I get to tell them what we got, or
sure, go ahead. Absolutely.
All right, man. So we've got a surprise giveaway from Pix4D. So we'll have that today. So we have one surprise giveaway from Pix4D. We've got a 1-year membership for AUVSI. So that's awesome. And then we have 3 passes that we're going to be giving away today for Interdrone 2020. So we do have 3 passes we're going to be giving away. So throughout the presentations, we're going to be sprinkling in some of these giveaway items. So we hope that you join us and stay with us, and we'll get started. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Dash, and we'll get started.
Thank you. Riley is the Vice President of AUVSI. I'm the President of AUVSI North Carolina. And AUVSI North Carolina, for those who are calling in today for the first time, is a nonprofit. And our headquarters is the big AUVSI. And many of the states in US have other chapters. So we are one of the chapters in North Carolina. And AUVSI, for those who are new to AUVSI, AUVSI is an international nonprofit organization that promotes unmanned systems and robotics. So there is there are other states, other countries also part of it, and AUVSI is practically one of the premium organization for unmanned systems in the nation, basically both nationally and internationally. So our chapter was founded last year, and we have grown, and we have a team now, and some of the folks who may be on the call today or will be calling in later. Nicole, who is our secretary, she is running the operations behind hand, and she'll be playing the videos and stuff, and she's basically not on the video right now, but Nicole is our secretary. We have the other members of our team are Bill Lewis, and we have Paul Rossi, we have Ashley Felton, we have Zia Durrani, and we have Justin Ollinghead. We also have 2 interns One is international intern and one is a US intern who's helping us. Dinesh from Virginia, and from India we have Abhishek. They are all helping us promote unmanned systems and bring such initiatives, help us with social media. So altogether, the team is growing. And one thing about ABSI North Carolina is that you don't have to be in North Carolina to be a part of it. All our sessions, all our initiatives are national initiatives and international initiatives. So if you'd like to know more about ABSI North Carolina, visit our website, that is aubsinc.org, or reach out to us via email, that is ncaubsi@gmail.com. And we are always here to answer your questions. Any questions you have, if not, we'll point you to the experts. Like today, we have 3 experts who are going to be on the panel. But we also have another expert who many of you all already know, Miriam from Drone Life. If you have read the news articles on drones, you will always see her name, and she is pretty popular in the industry. She's also there, and AUVSI North Carolina and Drone Life together have been hosting the Let's Talk Drones. So feel free. So just some housekeeping rules. We would expect everyone to mute themselves. Video is fine. There will be question time. We have certain questions that we have planned, but you are always free to ask questions. You can either post it on the chat, or you can unmute and ask the question. We will give you the time to do it. This is a slightly different from all our other Let's Talk Drones format. We will be playing multiple videos, and if I'm right, there are about 9 to 10 videos that we'll be playing, and we'll be trying to relate the questions to that and more. So if you see after the video you have questions related to that, please feel free to ask. But also in general, if you have any questions that's not related to it, but you have to a specific company, do feel free to ask those questions. When it comes to the giveaways, we will ask the question and the answer has to be put on the chat. So the first person who puts the right answer in the chat wins. And once you win, you cannot win the second time. So just trying to have fun, and everyone gets. So we hopefully 5 people win something. And so we'll be starting it out that soon. So remember, it has to be put in the chat, and the first right answer wins. Other than that, we are trying to cover a lot of topics, and we will be this whole session will later on be summarized in Drone Life, and Miriam will write an article on it. So if you have missed something, or you had certain questions that you felt it will help other people, push those questions to us, and you'll see those questions coming up in the summary of this event. So in addition to that, this event is recorded. It's right now on Facebook. We'll have the recording on our YouTube channel. So please feel free to visit later on and watch the video also. So without wasting any more time now, we will start, get into the sessions and stuff, and get into the main topics for today. And we'll start out with a video, and FX will take over from there. Nicole, if you can play the first video, please also keep your volume up so you can hear the video also. So there is sound in this video.
Hey Dash, while that's firing up, are the panelists allowed to answer the questions for the prizes?
Yeah, you need to pay. You'll have to pay for it.
Okay. All right. I had to ask, guys.
So FX, I'll turn it over to you. Open it up.
Yes,
With,
Darshan.
first of all, congratulations on being selected. The 5 companies were selected by the Army for the Blue SUS. So congratulations on that. And
Thank you.
to you, FX.
So yeah, thank you for playing the video. The idea here is actually to give to people an understanding of what's the platform overall and what we've been doing and how we position this product. The selection by the Blue SUS is actually the result of a work that we've done along with DIU and DoD for the SRR program initially. So just to put things into context, Anafi USA has been initially designed for the US Army, along with the short range recognition program that the US Army is currently running, which is not finalized yet. We down selected into this program. And with this program, the DIU decided to put together a list of approved SUAS to be used by and for federal agencies in the US. So Anafi USA is approved within this program. The goal really was to create and develop on an existing platform, the Anafi platform that is already a proven platform, a tool for people in first responders, but also inspection in different market verticals. One of the main thing was, of course, to implement production and manufacture this product in the USA, which is what we have done. We've partnered with an extremely stringent manufacturing partner called Neotech in Massachusetts, in Boston. So we've invested a lot of resources and money to make this happen, but we know that this is kind of key these days to have the product going through a stringent process of production here in the territory. So this is what we've done. And along with the production, I mean, it's also the development that we've done and the security we've put in this drone. We know not only for federal and gov, but also for first responders, security and data protection is very important. And we have very much put it a lot of time and effort to protect the data on this product through SD card encryption, through securing the link, through having an external audit done on our app, FreeFlight 6, to actually prove the security aspects of it. And so Anafi USA is the result of all this. Besides this, the product is within the line of what we've already started with Anafi platform, meaning that we very much believe in micro drones. We very much believe in lightweight platforms. So this platform is super lightweight. It's 1 pound, 32 minutes flight time. But I mean, 32 minutes flight time doesn't mean anything if you don't talk about the weight associated to it for me. And in fact, if you consider having the product with 4 batteries, a total of 4 batteries, which give you 2-hour flight time, you're only looking at 2.4 pounds, which is a very lightweight package, you know, and this is super important for people on the ground operating these devices. So that's why that was one of the focus also. Super easy to deploy, deployment in 55 seconds. You can swap battery in 25 seconds. I mean, all of these things are things that we've been, hearing very carefully from the ground, from operators that do operate these systems every day, and the needs of it. We'll talk about the payload a bit after with the illustration of 2 videos, Darshan. But basically, the payload is an industry first. What we've done is that we've put 3 sensors on the same gimbal, 2 4K sensor and a FLIR sensor IR. So super high capabilities on a very lightweight platform, and this is what we very much wanted to achieve. Besides this, and I think it's still important, but this drone is IP rated, IP53, so meaning it's dust and water resistant, and all of this for a price that we believe is very competitive, of $7,000. So that's in a nutshell Anafi USA. Anafi USA is actually the evolution, of the range. And Anafi Thermal was already a product that has been a very big success for us since 2019, since the launch. And talking about Anafi Thermal, Darshan, I'm actually also happy to state that Parrot was, and he's a partner for AUVSI North Carolina, and we've partnered for the Donate a Drone program. And so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the agency that got the drone is actually Gaston County Police Department, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Yes. So very happy to have the opportunity to actually sponsor this. I think, and again, this is very much what we want to do is to give these first responders and police department, fire department tools to achieve their mission in a very safe way. And we are very interested in getting the feedback on what they do with it and how to do it and what they would like to see in our products. You know, the drone became slowly but surely a tool in the box. And well, we have increased here with Pix4D, Troy. It's very much a tool in the box where it's part of an ecosystem. We're also very much aware of this, and we're very much working towards this direction where we try and focus to doing the best tool we can in order to have this in the toolbox and then be utilized with or the software solution or even the complementary hardware, etc. So yeah, that's it about Anafi USA. That's it for now.
Thanks, FX. And again, thank you for being part of the Donate a Drone initiative. So for those folks who are not aware about it, early this year, I would say around August during the hurricane season, we started a new initiative in North Carolina called the Donate a Drone program. And basically it helps us bring drones and helps us get drones to the public safety agencies and helps build their drone program. And we are trying to do this at no cost to them. So far, we have been able to donate 4 drones to 4 agencies, and we are trying to make sure that our vision is that eventually all public safeties in North Carolina will have minimum 1 drone and a drone program, if not more drones. And that is where for this time for the Christmas special, we had FX and Parrot who have donated a drone, but also we also got Pix4D to donate basically a 1-year Pix4D React license. So the agency gets double the benefit, not just the drone, but also the software. So this is where, industry plays a very important role to help our public safety agencies. And it's a great example of seeing Parrot, Pix4D, and SenseFly all working together to do this. So with that, we will move. Really, there's a question related to that, FX, which so how has being on the Blue SUS list shifted Parrot's business focus, or has it completely changed after this?
Well, in fact, the being on the Blue US list is actually the result of the shift we've done prior to that. So it's not because that we are on the Blue US program that we shift the focus. The focus has been shifted before, and this is explained because, I mean, Parrot is not new to the drone industry. It's been 10 years we're doing drones and manufacturing drones. We've been into the consumer business for quite a long time, and we still are. But we also know that we have a very big role to play in the professional drone industry. And Parrot drones was in fact the only one back then that was not in the professional industry of US, because SenseFly has always been, Pix4D has always been, MicroSense also has always been into the pro part. So the shift of focus has been already done 3-4 years ago for Parrot drones when we started to have professional products. And while actually selling these products, getting the feedback, seeing the needs on the market, this is how we actually started the discussion with a lot of potential customers in the world on the defense side, on the first responder side, etc. And the Blue US is actually the result of this focus change, and is also the result of the SR program. And I think DIU has been doing a great job. Very much supporting the US market to grow and look at other new vendors, solutions, manufacturers, vetted by them under a clear and stringent process. And I think it's honestly a great thing that they've been doing. So this is very much like this is the result of the shift of the focus that we've done. And Parrot today as a group, or Parrot Drone as a company, is very much a professional drone company and focused.
Perfect. Thank you, FX. And we will now move to SenseFly, and we'll start with a video. Nicole, when you're ready, can you play the second video?
All right, with that video, we'll let Troy discuss a little bit about the video and also, go into more detail, like he was saying a few minutes ago, about the company.
Perfect. Thank you, Riley. After the Parrot video, And then that video, I'm pretty convinced, guys, Chris and FX, we got to get our teams together and make a movie. I think we're ready for the silver screen. These are some powerful videos. Jokes aside, I liked that video. I wanted to throw that one in for this webinar. It's a bit nostalgic. You know, you see some older platforms being used. There's a lot of ROIs and testimonials throughout that video, because it's always one thing for any manufacturer or any product to say how great they are, but it's a whole different thing when everybody is sharing how they're improving their business. So I always watch that video with kind of half of a smirk of pride. Smirk's maybe not the right word, but of pride, just seeing throughout the years how many people have taken advantage of this, not just from a business standpoint, but you saw a flash of Zanzibar on there. There's an aspect that's way outside of just business. There's a humanitarian piece that sometimes gets taken over by business and ROI. So I really like that video. Zanzibar was pretty cool because, you know, we were able to go there and train the locals, and they didn't have any imagery of their land that they've been around for generations on. And so there's no satellite taking a picture there. So we were able to train them, and they were able to be self-sustained and collecting imagery of their local territory, which was pretty amazing. And as FX said, you know, Parrot's been around for 10 years. It hasn't been mentioned yet, but you've also seen that Parrot theme popping across into the SenseFly videos. And Parrot owns SenseFly along with Pix4D. So it's really cool to be out, in front of everybody with Chris and with FX and showing the power of this group. Quite simply put, it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. In the drone industry, excuse me, I don't want to overstate, right? But in the drone industry, there is no group like this. It's a complete powerhouse. So I say that with a lot of truth and pride. Another thing that comes to mind is, of course, the ROI, but the ease of use. As you know, the flash in that video was 72 hours. I've been told along my path with drones, and I've been around this technology for a little over 10 years myself. I came on with SenseFly around 2016. I won't give you the whole story. I'll spare everybody that, even though we have time. I won't take all that time. But I was an Air Force guy. I was a TAC-P guy, so forward air control. And then I worked for DoD doing intelligence, surveillance, and recon. So I was military, government, and then commercial. And so I've seen a lot of technologies you can imagine in the drone space. And one of my first impressions when I joined SenseFly, I was really blown away with the thoughts that I had was, wow, this just works. It's intuitive. And I was a little surprised. I thought somebody had recorded that, because over the years, being out in the world and working with different customers and asking feedback, I mean, that was kind of the reoccurring theme, is that it just works. So very, very proud to say that. And to that point, on being around for 10 years, celebrating our 10th year anniversary along with Parrot, is that customer feedback, right? So these ROI results, these testimonials, as FX had mentioned, you know, the blue is a result of the work that they've done. And those testimonials are a result of what we've done at SenseFly. And that's all through customer feedback. We listen, that's huge. And so I'm very proud to be a part of an organization that takes that feedback in and strategizes as a group to some level as well. So just wanted to point that out. Kind of shifting focus back over to the product itself. We're on our 5th generation of eBee. So a lot of transition and evolution over the last 10 years. And I think it's safe to say, being around that long, that through that feedback and what we've learned internally, that drones in general have made mapping safer, faster, and less expensive. Those are kind of the big 3. And I think we're definitely far beyond the disruptive period. You know, this isn't disruptive technology. It's here. It's proven, as you can see through that video. It's very complementary technology. From a survey standpoint, this is something that you can easily supplement your existing GNSS equipment, rovers, laser scanners, right? They are very, very similar in that way. And with that said, I think it's safe to say that this technology, the fixed wing drone, the SenseFly EBX is a force multiplier, right? So if you have that technology as a force multiplier, then you can start to think about how to grow your business, especially as a small business where resources are very, very tight. You can expand your opportunities by taking advantage of this. And why I say a rover, to get a bit more technical from a survey standpoint anyhow, is we take advantage of what we call high precision on demand, right? So it's a mapping drone. And oftentimes I say we're a mapping company that sells a drone. Chris, you'd like this. I think the other day I said we were a photogrammetry company, and I was like, no, we're so close to it, right? So we collect that imagery that Pix4D does such a wonderful job at processing, but we take advantage of that high precision on demand by having RTK and PPK capability. If you don't buy that, if you don't purchase that right away, you can always just turn that on. And that's that real-time kinematic, post-processing kinematic. And what we're getting to is not just map collection, right? It's accuracy. And that's your livelihood in some cases if you need that level of accuracy. And so you can get down to that 2 to 3 centimeter absolute ground resolution, no problem, because you're taking those corrections while you're in the air. So I won't get into the science too much. I'll save some room for questions on some of that if anybody's interested. But the bottom line is that we're boosting efficiency. You're able to collect data in a timely manner. You're able to own more of the terrain. So you can map out a point that might be at a spot on the earth that's really difficult to get to. And you're doing that with less resources. So I definitely know me, and those that know me, I could go on forever. So I'll certainly take a conversational pause and see where we are. If you want me to keep going, I will, but I'll take that pause, Riley, and you coach me where you want me to go.
Oh, absolutely. That's a perfect segue into what we're getting ready to do.
Okay.
So with that, we're gonna come back. We're gonna ask Troy a question, but while we're here with SenseFly, we're gonna give away our first giveaway item, which is going to be one of the passes for InterDrone. And how this is going to work is it's going to be the first person who types it in correctly in our chat box. So if you type it in, the first person who gets this right will get a free pass to InterDrone. The question is, Troy just hit on it, what generation are they on for their platform for the EB? What generation are they on? First one, let's see. I think Ken Welch.
I saw Ken as well. That's what I second that.
Ken
Fifth
got it, yeah, that's
generation.
right.
All right, so awesome. Ken, you are the lucky winner of that first pass that we're going to give away.
FX, are you logged in as Ken? Because that's not fair if you are.
Yeah, I did log it. No, I'm just kidding. But while we're talking about the platform of the EB, for those who have not had the opportunity to go to Troy's office in Raleigh, it's very impressive. And while you're there, and this leads into the question, while you're there, their boardroom or their meeting room, you get to see the evolution of the EB, which, you know, I love. It is definitely my favorite part of the whole office. It's just so cool. With that being said, Troy, can you explain to the guys a little bit about that evolution and how you are on that 5th generation right now and what it took to get there?
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And it is a pretty neat wall. I still stare at it and I'm proud of it. And so going back to the days prior to me being there, but I knew about SenseFly when they were coming out of the gate around 2009 and 2010, just from the being in the drone world. And around that time, SenseFly made the Swinglet, right? So it was just figuring out how to take aerial imagery and how to get a map done. And the Swinglet still impresses me to this day. Battery power and flight time, those change with the advancement of that technology, right? But everybody was really blown away by a 35-minute flight time of anything back in those days. And one thing I'll say is that going back to that feedback loop, we're not necessarily on the track of trying to put something out on a certain calendar date or 2 years or 3 years, nothing like that necessarily. But when technology does advance and it becomes affordable and it's still at that professional grade and there's a demand for it, we look to integrate. So moving on from the Swinglet, I won't get into the generations, but there was 2 versions of the Swinglet. And Riley sometime swing by because I got a hold of one of the holy grails, in my opinion, which was the original version, the very first one of the swinglet. So there was that kind of foam cut, and then there was a laser cut. Anyway, so we'll nerd out on that some other time. And then the EB came out, and today, because we've had different models, we coined that the EB Classic, right? So she became a classic over a period of time. But the EB came out and really, I think, solidified SenseFly as a leader in mapping drones. That was when everybody was really starting to get a grip on that in that 2012, 2013 period. Could fly longer, could carry more sensors. And at that time, we were using third-party integration. So it'd be a Sony camera or something of the sort, right? So we were using third-party integration cameras. And so you had more options, and now your flight time had jumped up to 45 minutes or so. And then the EB RTK, I lied, I said I wouldn't talk about versions, but that was important because it was a different drone. We understood that the need for accuracy was there as the surveying market really took a hold of this and was demanding this level of accuracy. So we added that RTK capability so that you could get that real tight accuracy. Moving on down the line, the market demands and was calling for more flight time. I want more sensors, I want more flight time. And so was born the EB Plus. So the EB Plus came out, and now our flight time jumps up to right at an hour. So now you're at 60-minute flight time, a little bit bigger airframe. So along with that, a bit stronger motor and those types of things. And in that 2017 period, we were able to, or 2016, excuse me, we were able to create our own sensor. So not just on the drone, but now we weren't integrating with third-party sensors. We were using our very own, the SenseFly Soda. And if you've been around Parrot long enough, you've heard some pretty funny names. But the Soda with SenseFly stands for Sensor Optimized for Drone Application. So there is a meaning behind it. And that's a 1-inch, 20-megapixel global sensor, global shutter sensor in that size of a GoPro form. So very, very light, because in our world, it's a game of grams. That was huge. So you actually saw a sensor with a SenseFly brand on it. The EBSQ also came out right around that period of time, and that was a sensor locked with a Parrot Sequoia. So Parrot had the Sequoia sensor. We locked that into a unit so that growers could take advantage of multispectral imaging at a much lower cost, because there wasn't that ability to swap payloads. So as time kept going and technology became more available and we were able to integrate and adapt new tech, we then launched the EBX, which came out in late 2018. And the EBX changed everything. Well, we changed everything about the platform. We're not in the business of repairs necessarily. You know, we wanted to make a more modular design. And so that EBX is now an upper and lower body, and it's being able to take it apart with 4 or so little screws and a very swappable type of approach. So we changed the fundamentals on that, and we introduced 3 more sensors that were SenseFly's very own. So the EBX today can carry up to 7 sensors, and we have our name or our partner's name on every single one of those. So that's huge. The flight time then changed as well. I've brought you up to 60 minutes, and now we were talking 60 up to 90 minutes with an endurance activation. So that's the medium range long version of the evolution, but I wanted to give you some touch points along the way. So thanks, Riley, for letting me do that.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, we're, again, just so thankful to have these 3 companies here with us.
I wanted to say one thing, actually, because Troy, I think there's something so interesting about the SenseFly and the EB that if somebody hasn't actually had the opportunity to see one, is that because of the material that they're made with, because it was so lightweight, because there were no blades around, you know, EB's been really allowed to do a whole lot of things because it was such an obvious safety case. Mm-hmm. You know, like this thing is just not gonna hurt you if it, you know, if the very worst case scenario happens. So that's been so cool in the evolution of, you know, the SenseFly products, is to see all of the kind of trials and things that you guys have been allowed to do, because because the material is so interesting and innovative, and so you got all these features into this, you know, thing that looks like styrofoam to me.
No, it's
and
good.
but it's
Yeah.
so great because it's just got this such an obvious safety case. You take a look at it and you're like, yeah, that can't hurt anybody. We're
That's
good with
right.
that.
That's right. And Miriam, it's a great point, and we definitely did that on purpose. You know, there's lots of different platforms and ways you can configure. We've seen drones in all shapes and sizes, right? But it was definitely very important for us to stay light. The heaviest you'll find in EBX is right at 3.1 pounds. And it can be lighter with a SOTA sensor, let's say. And, you know, I never nerded out on styrofoam until I joined SenseFly. And I'm at a show one time, and this guy was mesmerized by the foam. And I mean, he's, you know, rubbing the wing and he's looking at it. And I'm like, well, okay, what booth did he stop by before he got here? But he was explaining to me, and I know that, you know, when we talk about styrofoam, it's not that quick stop beer cooler type of styrofoam. It's not going to chunk off. This is that EPP, so it's expanded polypropylene, if to say it like that. So it's very, very durable, and stays like important. Back to what FX had pointed, or his video had pointed out, the Anafi is so incredibly light, you know, and it's so benign, and so is the EBX when you're talking about integrating it into national airspace, right? And right now, and we'll talk about it probably more later, but you know, everybody's moving through that BVLOS stage. Well, that also encompasses ops over people. So it's safe to say, Miriam, like you said, worst case scenario, you know, that if something like that were to happen, we've had those tests done. And I'm not trying to be morbid here, but there even was a case, I think with Assure, where they were flying it into a cadaver, right? And taking, I mean, wow, I didn't think they needed to do all that, but they did, you know, and the results showed that this was something that could fly safely. And that was a big help of getting State Farm their beyond visual line of sight waiver as well. So I'm really glad you pointed that out. So thank you.
No, that's awesome. Thank you guys for that. And again, you know, my big thing is I never want to sound like a car salesman, but my shameless pitch for all three guys is being in my situation and where I come from with the state, we are afforded the availability to work with all three groups, and we have all three of their products, and we showcase them to everybody across the state. That's what we do for free. And I can honestly say that, you know, they're all three great companies, great products. We have put them through the ringer. We have done anything that you could think of with them. You know, a lot of people will say, well, you know, SenseFly ZB, you know, we can't really use it for, you know, public safety. We use it for public safety all the time. You know, we put it in some unique situations, but we are a unique, you know, I guess you could say entity in what we respond to and what we train with. But again, they're all three great. If you have not had the chance to experience some of these platforms and the software, please do so. If you reach out to these guys, if you'll reach out to us here in North Carolina, if you just want to come out one day while we're training and say, hey, look, I just want to watch, you know, there's several guys that have these platforms in the state, several guys who have the software. They are really great companies. And we're not just saying that because they took their Friday to be with us. We're saying it because they're tried and true, and we've used them in the field. They save lives, and they help people in my world. So we're very thankful for that. Next up on the list, we're going to go ahead and have we'll go ahead and air the Pix 4D video, and we'll go from there. So Nicole, if you'll please turn on the Pix 4D.
Okay, thanks. Short and sweet. And I wanted to start with Pix4D Mapper. I've been at Pix4D 2 years, and I don't know if you guys get it, but I just think it's almost like magic. I'll give you a little background. I've been in technology industry a long time, and 20 years ago I worked for a company, Autometric. They did photogrammetry for the government, and it was stereo glasses or software and digitizing one point at a time. And then we started getting the technology could display 3D and measure things in 3D. But it took a long time. The capabilities that you have now in Pix4D Mapper combined with Parrot or SenseFly or small drones is just magic to me. I mean, I hope you guys still feel the magic, because that's part of the industry and what attracted me to the industry. Now Pix4D Mapper, the company with Pix4D was founded in 2011, and we kind of grew up with SenseFly and Parrot around the same time. And some of that was fortuitous because the software evolved. Our CEO founded Pix4D and started with an algorithm for photogrammetry that is really magic today. That flying a small drone, taking images, you can produce survey grade accurate 3-dimensional data sets with the precision that you could never do before. I mean, it's just phenomenal. 20 years ago, you couldn't even think of doing this. 10 years ago, you couldn't do this. And now, a guy with a 1-pound drone and software on his laptop can do things that were just absolutely impossible 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. So I hope you all get that. I want to start with Pix4D Mapper. It's been an exciting year for us at Pix4D. We've launched a whole slew of products. Mapper remains our flagship product, and we launched Mapper in 2015. We're up to version 4.6. It really is an incredible piece of software. It's a tremendous engineering tool. It lets one person create incredible 3-dimensional, accurate, even survey-grade accuracy data sets from small, inexpensive, lightweight drones, and do it very quickly, with data you can collect in the field in a matter of no time. So it remains a very popular piece of software. In fact, it's growing. I think the thing that still excites me is how many different industries have adopted Pix4D Mapper and are using it on a daily basis. So, we started the product really aimed at surveyors and engineers, geospatial engineers and surveyors. And that remains a really strong focus for us. But we're seeing it in so many different industries, departments of transportation, even North Carolina, we have quite a few users. We have collision reconstruction specialists and police departments that are using it to do reconstruction of accident scenes and create evidence. We have mining, energy, all sorts of industrial inspection, construction, agriculture. I mean, you name an industry. And every day it's exciting for us here at Pix4D because we get people coming to us and saying, I saw your software. Can I use it for this? I got this idea to do something. It's one of those really, and I think probably many of you here in the industry feel that excitement about the industry. It's new products, new technology, and you can do things that, that's always been my excitement, is being able to do something that no one else on the planet has ever done before. And I think most people will have a small drone and Pix4D software. They're thinking those kind of things every day. So anyway, I just wanted to convey that. We'll start with Mapper. I'm going to show you some other products today. This year we launched in 2020 during the crazy pandemic, we launched 6 new products. And a lot of what we're doing is, where Pix4D Mapper is a tremendous kind of general purpose. We call it a Swiss Army knife because we're from Switzerland, but pardon the pun, but it's a real engineering tool, and it works for many different industries. It works with many different drones. It's many different sensors, virtually any camera it can work with. With the new products, we're really trying to go, as the industry matures, and address industry-specific solutions. And you'll see in the industry scale and the applications and the use cases and the business scale. I think this would have been really a remarkable year for the drone industry if we hadn't been in a pandemic situation. But even so, I think people have seen the value of drones as an inherently remote, socially distancing technology can do things that you can't do otherwise in a pandemic. So the industry has continued to grow, and we're continuing to grow to address those new use cases and industry applications. I don't know, probably many of you have already seen Pix4D Mapper, but does anybody have any questions about the product that they'd like to bring up now? If you want to raise your hand or something.
Yeah, this will be the segment for any questions related to 3 videos, or starting with the Pix4D video, before we get into use cases. So feel free to post the questions or unmute and let us know. There's an option called raise hand. If you want to use that on your, you can see it on the application, you can use that. But we have more videos and a lot more discussions going on. So we can continue if you have no questions specific to these 3 videos that you saw. All right, let's move ahead really. So I think before we do the Pix4D giveaway, we'll play the next video so that it's a good segment to what Chris mentioned. So Nicole, if you can get ready with the next video, the video 4.
So those are that video showcased 2 of the new products we introduced at Pix4D this year. Pix4D Matic is similar to Pix4D Mapper, but it's expressly designed to do very large scale projects. So if any of you have used Pix4D Mapper before, it's a desktop product. It pretty much tops out, depending on how much memory and compute power you have, at around 2,000 images a project. And you can do large-scale projects by breaking them up into sub-projects and chunks, processing each one individually and getting the result. But for large projects, it takes a long time. And it's frustrating to have even doing this magic to have it take that long. I think typically the type of project you can fly with an Onaphy in 30 minutes, you can process in a couple hours easily on Pix4D Mapper. When you get to the EV and you fly an hour and a half, and you take 1,000 images, now you're starting to get to the limits of what Mapper can do. But we have customers that have been doing projects that are tens or hundreds of kilometers in scale now. People are scaling up their operations and using drones for really large scale things. So Pix4D Matic, we developed same basic underlying algorithm, but we've revamped it and made it and optimized it for very large scale projects. So it can handle 10,000 or more images in a single project, and it can do it several times faster than Mapper can. So that's exciting for us because it really starts to address the ability of the modern day drones and the new BVLOS application capability with the FAA. People are really starting to do these large projects. The other part of it that we found is Pix4D Mapper and Matic are really fundamentally used in many cases by surveyors. And if you look at the workflow of surveyors, typically they are going from the drone project, producing a point cloud or an ortho and a 3D mesh and topo information. But usually at the end of that, they're going to want to go and vectorize data, create vector data for a survey, either in AutoCAD or GIS. And that's been an inherently slow process. There are other products that do that. Pix4D Survey was developed to really speed up that workflow. So it takes the point cloud and lets you very quickly, semi-automatically digitize feature data, point cloud data, vector data from the point cloud. So road break lines of construction sites, or road features, center lines, virtually anything, you know, house building outlines, anything like that, that you would vectorize for a survey or CAD project. And one thing that's was kind of set Pix4D Mapper apart right from the start was our ray cloud. At every point that we produce is inherently tied back to the camera. And what Survey does really uniquely is when you're digitizing things from the point cloud, it's a colorized point cloud, but you can also digitize from the source imagery, and you can refine the data from the source imagery. Anybody's ever tried to do this in kind of point cloud editing software? It's kind of a mess, either LiDAR data or photogrammetry data. You're looking at a jumbled mess of points, and it's hard to pick things out. Pix4D Survey makes it really easy to do that and actually see the points accurately portrayed in the source imagery. So you know exactly, I'm picking the top edge of this curve or the center line of this road. And you can do that very, very efficiently, many times more efficiently than traditional methods. So we're seeing both of those new products being developed for the surveyor and engineering communities. And we actually have a special on those this month. So if you're interested, you can get a free trial, but we also have a special deal for those products this month for call it Cyber December. So with that, do you want to do our giveaway?
Yep, that's perfect time to do a Pix4D giveaway, and I'm just going to be posting what the prizes are. So this is very important, the fastest finger first thing. So let's I'm going to be posting it right here right now. So the winner can choose from any one of this, and Chris, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Troy, you don't get it. Yeah, so you get your choice of one of four of our new products. Pix4D Catch, I'll talk about that later, and along with a 2-month subscription to Pix4D Cloud, which does photogrammetry in the cloud. Pix4D Inspect, which is a new product for inspection. You'll see that later. Pix4D Survey, which we just showed, and then Pix4D React, which is our fast mapping application for public safety. So you pick one of those. We're gonna do the question now. So I'm really interested in the science of photogrammetry. Photogrammetry means measure from images, and that's the science behind Pix4D Mapper. So a little bit of history trivia. And let me copy this in here. I'm going to put the question in here. And then I'm going to put 5 choices. You have to pick A, B, C, D, or E.
I'm ready with it. Yeah.
So which scientist coined the term photogrammetry? And I'm going to give you 5 choices, 5 scientists from history. And the first person to tell me the right answer here will win the prize.
Dang.
We got an answer already.
Leonardo da Vinci, Sir Isaac Newton, Albrecht Meydenbauer, Carl Zeiss, or Charlie Trimble?
So we got the answer already.
Who picked C?
The first one, John Driver.
He actually named it.
Way to go, John.
He actually named it.
Yeah, I think he was ready with the spelling already. He was like, let me just press enter.
Jeez, somebody knows that. That's really good. So I really love this. I did a talk recently. I just kind of did some research on the history of photogrammetry.
Miriam.
But Leonardo da Vinci started using perspective, the science of perspective imaging and perspective transformation to basically draw architectural drawings back in the 1400s, right? And that was kind of the foundation for it. Sir Isaac Newton, nothing to do with it, but I love Isaac Newton stuff.
Well, he flew an EB.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. But actually, the term photogrammetry was a Prussian architect. I hope I can say his name right. Albrecht Meydenbauer, And yeah, it's not quite in English, it's photogrammetry. For him, it was, what is it? His article was dye photogrammetry, I don't know. Yeah, close enough. But that was the first word used of photogrammetry. And it's kind of interesting in history. At that point, there was nothing that flew, so they were doing stuff from the ground. Then shortly thereafter, people started using balloons to do aerial photogrammetry. And then Carl Zeiss and other people in the early 1900s started putting cameras on aircraft. It was still pretty much manual. Take a photograph and manually draw things out from the science of perspective transformation. But digital photogrammetry started in the 70s, probably 70s and 80s. And then the current type of photogrammetry we use is called structure from motion, was really developed starting around a paper around 2006. So it's pretty recent that we can do this magic, but it's really interesting. The whole science of it goes back, many hundred years, really. So.
True, Chris. So congratulations to John Driver. Nicole will message you, and you can select what's the price that you want, and we'll get it to you soon. So congratulations, and Riley, I'm handing it over to you.
Absolutely. Congratulations, John. Also, I saw where Bruce typed it in pretty quick, but not quick enough. So that's awesome, Bruce. Good try. So right now we'll go right back to SenseFly real quick with video 5, and we'll lead in with that. So Nicole, if you'll go ahead and show video 5.
My name is John Osorio Lora. I'm a senior mine surveyor at Barrick Pueblo Viejo. Pueblo Viejo is an open pit gold mine. The site consists in 3 ore pits, Cumba, Montenegro, and Moore, and 3 limestone quarries. More than 130,000 tons are mined daily from the pits, and another 30,000 tons daily from the quarry. My role here in the mine is oversee the survey team activities throughout the mine. We provide support to many of the technical departments in the site. We provide survey control to the tailings dam construction and the whole mining operation, and also volume reconciliation, stockpile inventory to validate the contract's progress payment, and surface update, project tracking, and slow monitoring. Before we have drones, we used to take more than a week. 4 survey crew have to work for about 96 hours to cover all our pits, quarries, and stockpile. Right now that we have drones, we don't have to send people in places like this no more. We decided to use SenseFly because of this site. This site has a space limitation, difficult terrain, difficult ore classification, safety concern. So we just figured out that with the drones implemented, it's much easier and safer for our people to do our job. SenseFly's drones are light, easy to handle, easy to use, can fly faster and longer, which means can cover larger areas in less time to one of our people, and also a very good, easy, and friendly software.
My name is Jose Recio, and I'm the Mine Technical Services Superintendent. So the use of drones help us overcome our challenges in many different ways. The first one that is cost. We have a huge challenge that is time and interaction between all the areas. So the drone technology allows us to have the less possible interruption in the mining operation and ensure that we have a proper continuity of the operation. So I use the drone data in short-term decisions that we need to do in the mine. Like we have a lot of projects that we have to make decisions in the short term, that needs to make decisions right now to make sure that the production continues. So the drone technology helps me have that visibility.
The accuracy that we are achieving right now is -5 centimeters. It's important to us to have accuracy because everything depends on that. I mean, we provide this data to different departments, like geology, and they have to construct the block models. We use that information to do volume reconciliation. This is how our contractor got paid. Once we're done with the flyover, we just use ArcGIS to do the imaging processing. And after that, with every result, we just spot it and put it in a link, so each department that is going to need this information can use it in different software. Our return on investment has been good so far. For example, in 2012, in our forecast budget, we had to buy a scattering unit to replace the one we had by that time. But since we implement UAV technology, we could see the results, how fast it was, how reliable it was, how accurate is the information. We decided to get an EV unit instead of getting a scanner.
The drone technology helps the company in different aspects. Like one aspect is cost reduction. If we didn't have the drone technology, we will be spending more in technology, but also one of the main things is safety. Like before using the drone technology, we had a lot of people and surveys in the field, interacting with equipment, working on slopes, working on heights. And now with the drone technology, we don't do that. So we're actually keeping our people safer using the drone technology.
What I would say to someone that is not sure about getting a drums is if you want to get a great tool for management of projects, UAV is the tool.
All right, Troy, with that, can you tell us a little bit more about that project? And really, the question is, how's the survey industry changed because of drones?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna, dive into a lot of the specifics that you guys just saw in the video. It spoke a lot for itself as to on the project, right? But it spoke a lot to itself as to why mining companies are using this. Over the years, I've had the privilege. That's one of my things I love most about my job, is to be able to go be on site with a customer to get that kind of feedback. And so to stand on a site and see how dynamic it is, and then the information that they're gleaning, that they're getting out of this data, it just blows my mind. Kind of going back to what Chris had said, it's kind of magic. There's something to point out too that I think is a powerful thing between at least Pix4D and SenseFly, is that we're both agnostic, right? That you can use that Pix4D software with many different platforms, and with our platform you can also use different softwares. So sometimes that's just because of program, and people have a set way of doing things, a set process, right? So just wanted to kind of point that out. The thing that blew my mind, it was I was at a large mine site. It was with a Barrick Group, I do believe, but been to a bunch of them. But they had 3D printed their site, right? So you're sitting in their boardroom, and you were just standing next to this massive hole that almost seemed like it affected time. I mean, that's how big this hole was, looking down on it. And then you're in this boardroom and you're looking at it in this, this small scale. And I'm just, blown away by it. And he says, come check it out. And they had actually been able to lay in a layer. He put a layer down on that 3D printout of the different veins, the different mineral veins. And I mean, this was all from drone imagery, and they were using Pix4D. And I was just like, man, this is amazing. Next thing I was like, well, what's next? You're going to put my goggles. Can I be in it? But we're headed there, right? And in fact, we're already there in some cases. I think it's interesting, not just from those stockpile measurements. I was able to see how they would do it traditionally, and then see how they do it with a drone, and it was absolutely more efficient. But it goes all the way down to the slope of the haul road, and all the different operational decisions and insights you can make, with amazing software like Pix4D has, and you can see a 3-degree drop or an improvement or whatever you want to do to improve the slope in that road could mean millions of dollars over a 20-year span. And so they're constantly flying that because those roads erode and do different things. And so to be able to get that kind of imagery weekly, monthly, quarterly, however quick, however fast you want, that's like having a satellite in a box, if you will. And another, high point to Pix4D for changing the game. So transitioning to that other part of the question, how has the game changed? I think that from one, it seems to me that the drone industry, the needle kind of goes back and forth. You know, I need better sensors. I need higher resolution. That's too much data. I need that to process quicker. And Pix4D has done a good job of bringing that back into the middle. And so I think between hardware and software, we're in a real sweet spot to collect imagery quickly. And I'm not going to leave Parrot out of this at all, because they were also doing facade mapping, right? And so taking two sets of imagery and putting it into one using an Anafi, it was incredible. And I mean, everything is super easy to use, right? So I think that it's changed, ultimately, Riley, it's changed the surveying game. At first, it was just that force multiplier. But what I'm seeing now and what I'm most excited about is program. You're able to start to scale. You're able to see the regulatory environment, even though there are challenges. We're far enough along down the line where large engineering firms, large surveying groups are saying, you know what, let's build program now, and let's get on the long path. And I think just the evolution in general has allowed enterprise and mainstream start to come in across that adoption curve, right? It's early adopters and first adopters and all that. And so that's one thing that I think has changed surveying, is that they're able to see this at scale. And it'll be amazing to see how much data they can collect and how quick they can, and the insights they pull from it. So I'll stop there.
Thank you, Troy.
Yeah.
So for the next one, we're going to roll into Parrot. And so we are going to show videos 6 and 7. So if Nicole, if you'll go ahead and start videos 6 and 7.
So thank you, Riley. I might talk over the video while they're actually playing. The idea here is to actually give you guys an idea of what we're achieving through the sensor that we've put it on our new Anafi USA. So 2 examples here. Nicole, we can start. That's a fire example. So what we wanted to show here is actually 2 things. First is the capability of zooming in and out on the platform. And as a reminder, this is because we have implemented 2 4K sensors, giving you the capability of zooming up to 32 times zoom. And well, more than this here, especially, is the fact that the FLIR, as I said, we have a FLIR Boson 320. On this platform. And so as you can see here, there is 2 things that we can actually comment. Is if we can just put pause for a second. On the FLIR thermal video, we can actually see first that both imagery, the RGB and the FLIR, the IR, are merged together. And so this is giving you context in what you're saying. Some people actually call this MSX because this is how FLIR calls it. In fact, this is Parrot proprietary technology, but it's kind of like similar. The idea, the concept is similar, where we inject RGB within the thermal to give context around the picture and not only see the thermal signature of the scene. So that's one thing. Second thing, what's interesting here to see is that the way we've done this sensor, we're actually able to zoom in and out using the 2 RGB sensors, but we're also able to use the FLIR and zoom up to 32 times with the FLIR 320 Boson. And this provides very good results. And so this works, I mean, during the day, and this is a fire case, and our partner in Canada just did in-depth testing and comparison of several products, and Anafi USA was in it. And at night, it also works very well. And the fact that you can actually zoom in thermal, and when we use these thermal palettes like white hot and this type of things, you can very easily identify someone. So in case of like first responders, police department, so working very efficiently at night and during the day. So that's about like the payload, and the fact that we wanted to illustrate how the thermal imagery work along with the RGB by blending both. And on the second video, the idea that play Nicole if you don't mind. So on the second video, the idea very much is to show you the Zoom capability. So because we say 32 times Zoom, but X times Zoom means nothing until you realize how far you can identify someone or something. And in fact, with the two sensors mounted this way and the digital zoom we've developed, you can identify people up to 1.2 miles away. And this is exactly what we're doing here with these parachutists. And you don't realize how far they are right now, but it's pretty impressive when the zoom is zooming out. And in fact, you have no idea that these people are there just jumping out of this plane. And this is the power of this zoom. Is like, so yes, this is at the end you see the zoom out completely. So just few examples to show payload capabilities. And payload has always been very much a topic, and Troy was mentioning back then the soda and all these payloads, and on SenseFly side, on Parrot side, we're working very hard on developing top-notch, top-of-the-range payloads that actually fit a need. And with NFE USA and having the RGB cam on one side and the FLIR on the other side, all together, the Zoom capabilities, you're actually addressing a lot of potential missions, and it's a very versatile product. A lot of people, NFE as a platform, being the 4K, the thermal, or the USA, is not dedicated for mapping. It's not dedicated for mapping in the sense that it's not providing RTK, PK precision or this type of things. But we know that a lot of people do use it for mapping because in some cases, what the level of detail and the level of precision these platforms are providing is much more than enough. And a good solution working together is especially Pix4D React as an example, because this product being mainly for first responders or police departments, fire departments, they want something on the ground where they can process quickly offline and just get results and share them in no time. And so this is where the power of the proposition is. You have a platform that you can deploy very quickly, fly it easily through Pix4D capture, fully compatible, take all the data that you've gathered, process it locally on your PC, on your computer, in the car, on your operation car, and just have a map ready to go and just to be shared, put annotation, just some POS and so on. So that's what I wanted to explain and just show to you. It's the versatility of this platform and what we've done with these sensors and these three sensors being in one gimbal on NFE USA. Over to you, Riley.
Real quick. Out of all the amazing things an NFE does, and I guess this just tells you how simple-minded I am. My favorite thing is the USB-C charging. It's awesome.
It's just convenient, yes, because you can charge on the go. It's not like you have a dedicated charger. Yes, you're right.
Anyway, I just wanted to add that.
Trying to make life a bit easier when we can. So yeah, right on.
And as we are on this, as I was sitting yesterday night and doing some research on the companies and all, I really didn't know till I read about it, was that Parrot was the first company to officially launch a consumer drone in 2010. The facts, as I looked through it, I realized that it's a different do-it-yourself type of drones, build your type of drones. Yeah, that's different. But if you look at the first consumer drone that was released was in 2010, and it was done by Parrot. Now, we use the technology, we don't know about it, but that really sets the, it's like a circle. When you look at it, the industry started out, we see the industry kicking off in 2014, 2015, but actually not. 2010 was when the consumer drone came into industry, and now you come back to the Blue SUS, where they have selected all this. It's like, 10 years later, what's changed for Parrot is that they're just growing. That's it.
No, you're correct, Darshan. And I mean, I remember very well this year of 2010 when we announced the first ever flying drone controlled by a smartphone with live video feedback, thanks to iPhone being a sensitive touch screen where you can have the live feedback connected by Wi-Fi. And this was January 2010 announcement. Huge. I mean, it was craziness about this because it was so new. And August was actually the commercial launch, and I joined Parrot few months after in December 2010. And so you're right. We're actually the first one doing consumer drone controlled by a smartphone with live video feedback directly, and it was very exciting. So, and it's crazy when you think about it. I mean, but it's like smartphones somehow. Smartphones. I mean, the first iPhone was 2009. It's only 10 years, so it's not that long. But I mean, the progress this industry has made in terms of platforms, of sensors, of softwares, of what we can do. Look at the suite of products Pix4D is having today. It's insane, and the number of products you guys have launched this year is just it's impressive how this industry grows, and this is why it's so fascinating.
Was that the AR FX?
Drone, yes.
Okay,
Augmented
cool.
reality drone, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the first one out there, but I'm sure I wasn't the first one to bump that into a farm building a bunch of times. 'Cause I had bought it just to learn what it meant, and that's what we did for a while, was just figuring it out. And it's super resilient. That's why we got it, because we knew we were a bunch of knuckle draggers, flying this thing around, and it took a beating and kept going. That was a good little product.
Now, and this fact check really, which as I was looking through it, made me realize that overall, Parrot, SenseFly, Pix4D, if you look at the technology or the software they are focused on, they are a leader in each one of this, and it is clear and evident. If you look at SenseFly, what's the most widely used fixed wing in the world? That's SenseFly. Practically everyone in the world, everyone knows about SenseFly and they use it. I myself started out in the drone industry flying fixed wings, and that is where I feel like fixed wings has given a pathway for our drone users to think about what else they can do. But even to look at Pix4D, the software that's being used, really there's no competition compared to the range of products that is available and how widely it is used again. So as together as a family, it's interesting that the family does not make that much sound like many other companies, but does the work, shows their end results rather than voice. That's what I wanted to point out here is there are companies out there that want to publicize, talk a lot, show what they can do, what the future is and everything. But I think the Parrot family as a whole has just let their work and their products talk for themselves. And that's what is amazing about, last year we were at, when we did the AUVSI first event, we were at SenseFly, and I was amazed by the whole journey of SenseFly. But at the same time, I realized that this journey is not complete without Pix4D and Parrot in this discussion. So
it doesn't happen without Parrot. I mean,
exactly. So that's what. So that really brings me out to one of the questions. So first of all, another fact was just 2012, if I'm not wrong, that Parrot acquired SenseFly and Pix4D around the same time. It's 2012, or was it 2000? Is that right?
It was broken up. FX, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm happy to talk about the lineage, but FX has been around with Parrot for a long time, and he and I were talking about this. He and I worked in the same office for quite a time. So if you want FX, if you want to kind of give him that layout, yeah.
No, go ahead, Troy. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not too sure about the dates. I think it was about 2012, yes,
Yep.
but I'm not exactly sure.
That's around when it happened, and then like full acquisition was a couple of years later type of deal. And I think Pix4D, there was different kind of times and chunks as to when full acquisition had happened. But the way I understand it, my version of it is, or the version I understand is, Parrot going back to those consumer drones and wanting to diversify their portfolio. Hey, there's something here. There's something in drone. And Parrot was doing a lot of things, right? They were in the automotive business and doing a lot of different things. And so Parrot, for lack of better explanation, kind of sent someone out, to look. Gilles Labrassiere was one of those people. He's the CEO of SenseFly now, but went over to EFPL there in Lausanne and sees SenseFly kind of in a garage, putting this stuff together, and across the hall, theoretically or maybe literally, was Pix4D. Right. And those, everybody starts talking. And so you had this mapping company and this photogrammetry company coming out of this Polytech incubator, kind of like RMIT in the US. And so since the beginning, it's been that. It's been Parrot, SenseFly, and Pix4D. And then those acquisitions happened, right? And so that's kind of the short version of it. But yeah.
So really, I have a question related to that. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, just a sec. So I just have to bring this up because, since I'm old and so we've been writing at Drone Life since 2013. And I think that's one of the things you got to give Parrot credit for, because I think I've probably written 4 articles about how,
savvy,
just the right match of bringing on like the right expertise at the right time to kind of just be right there as the technology is progressing, to make sure that they're at the apex of what the software and the hardware can do at that particular time in the drone industry's evolution. I think I've written that same article probably every couple of years as they bring on new partners and new people into the family. So I got to say, from a journalist point of view, from an outsider following the company, that's something that Parrot has just always done a great job at, is being able to recognize, where you're going, where the drone industry is going next, and to make sure that they have the partners and the tools so they can be right there.
Well, they recognize talent, and that's why FX, Troy, and Chris are here. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. That's why you got hired.
Thank you, Mary. I think it is, part of it is just, things came together with technologies at the same time. And, as I understand it, talking to Christoph, our CEO, is that, when he started this stuff, it was just an algorithm that, I can do photogrammetry with lots of pictures, and, what's it good for? It was kind of research. But then, as right around the time he founded Pix4D, he realized the drone industry was taking off, and Parrot and SenseFly down the hall, there were drones now that could fly with one person, could fly and collect imagery. He was thinking aircraft and, that kind of thing to collect imagery. And all of a sudden the drone industry happened, with the technology to make it possible to go collect the imagery you need to use this algorithm. And then Parrot had the vision to put it all together. And if you look at, I think if you look at Parrot with Bionofi, a small quadcopter, and SenseFly with the EB, Pix4D, those 3 products can do just about anything in the industry. It's pretty remarkable. They put together the components that work for just about any customer, any application.
I always say, thank goodness for smart people, because that's what this was. It's very smart.
So it'll come to the point of the main question is that now with the 3 companies operating, even though it's one family, but I have a different operations base, also users also, and everything. How has that impacted your products and business? As each other's company benefited from, like SenseFly has benefited from being a product, because of Parrot, or I would say like Parrot has benefited because of SenseFly. Is there a 3-way some sort of connection because of the company, or it's each company has been able to do its own sales and partnerships and business?
Well, I'll take that from Pix4D first. I mean, we are drone agnostic. We've had to be, but we've had a special relationship, obviously, with Parrot, an early investor, and then being owned, acquired, and with SenseFly being a startup next door right from the beginning, with Parrot and SenseFly. So having those other companies that we have a close tie with has let us do some special things through the years, and develop solutions, integrated solutions that just work extremely well together. So, we've all recognized, I think, we can't just rely on being one company that only does our own thing. I mean, there's a few companies in the world that are vertically integrated and successful, like Apple or something, but most companies you know, in this market, it's still a pretty fractured market. So we all have to work with other technology companies to make things work, but we've got a special relationship, and just the ability to talk to, you know, to put things together with our partner companies is a big advantage, I think, in the industry.
Sure, and on from the SenseFly side, you know, when we say mapping in mind, we can truly say that because, you know, we have one mission, you know, is to go collect really good imagery so that you can get good results. And so when we're developing a sensor, right, we have a sister company that's a photogrammetry company. So that is all happening while we're developing, right, is to make sure that this thing is optimal. So sensor optimized for drone application, that's not just buzzword, you know, that is the truth of it in such a small form. So I think, you know, SOTA was one really good example when we made our first sensor is to have that advantage. And then with Parrot, you know, there's an engineering floor, right? And SenseFly may not have, you know, that level of resource or those types of things, but we're able to pool, like Chris was saying, you know, as needed on those types of things to make sure that the group as a whole does well, you know. And then I think that individually, from that individual standpoint, we've all built our brands very well. That's one thing I will say across all three companies is the brand awareness and the brand building along the way. That I think is more done within the companies as themselves. So it's impressive to see all three do that, right? And I mean, those videos don't come from Parrot necessarily, right? So those are each company doing their things and each of those industry leaders. So anyway, because of both interaction and independent efforts, we're the cornerstones and leaders in what we do.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with all of this, and I second what Chris was saying in terms of, you know, being agnostic. I mean, being agnostic, but also being fully compliant, meaning that there is, of course, a very strong integration between Parrot NFV and Pix4D Solutions because we're sister companies, and it's a very good way of doing so. But on top of that, on our side of things, we also partner with other software companies that are doing just different things. I mean, Pix4D is the reference in the market for mapping, but DroneSense is the reference for first responders. I mean, the good reference for first responders. Skyward is a very good platform too. I mean, many of them. And so when Pix4D's brand is drone agnostic, we are kind of the same way with softwares because we believe, and this is more than anything, we're not here to reinvent the wheel, as I said. What our goal is to provide the best tool possible in the category of highly equipped micro drones. And we stick to this. And we're not here to develop photogrammetry software. We have Pix4D who does it much better than us, and we'll always do. There is other companies in the world or in the US doing softwares in the verticals where they've been doing this since day one. They've been starting in a garage 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever, and they've been. So why would we want to reinvent the wheel? We think it's very important for each one to be in its own category and do what he knows to do best, and leave others to do what they know how to do best. Same for, I mean, the hardware. When you think about it, and I had the opportunity to work with Troy on the SenseFly side, and what I like, and this is back to what Chris was saying, what I like about the solutions we have is that it's very complementary. SenseFly is the reference in mapping, and I've learned a lot working with SenseFly on the mapping market. Parrot is actually addressing more and more the first responders market, inspection market, and we've learned from each other companies on these markets too. I remember at some point SenseFly was doing quadcopters, and they've been also addressing the inspection market, and they learn from Parrot on it, and vice versa. So this is kind of like how it works within the group. We kind of all separated, but we have very good synergies between all, and we work in good intelligence doing so. And in the US, Chris, Troy, and I are close and always working together in order to make things, you know, working in a smart way. So this is how I think we've put it a very strong group overall, and that's what I liked about it.
I would say one more thing, if you would let me say before we move on. You know, one of the challenges in the marketplace is it's such a diverse drone technology with hardware and software. There's so many different players. Even though we work well together, the company, all of our companies have really well-founded integrity that, we sign NDAs with other companies, other drone manufacturers all the time. And, they have to rely on us to not share information with Troy and FX about what we're doing with other companies and vice versa. So there is that, that makes it interesting. If we were just working only with each other, that wouldn't be an issue. But I think companies have to trust us as well, that we operate with integrity and we do, value our relationships with other companies. They have to trust that we're not going to, basically share information that we shouldn't across them. And that works both ways, so we're obviously not doing it, sharing information from our internal collaboration with other companies too. So it's an interesting marketplace. And I guess lastly, we're all here in the United States. We're Swiss and French companies. So that makes it also interesting. We all have unique challenges working with our US customers and partners for companies that are founded overseas.
Thank you, Chris, for that.
So you won't ask that question again, will you, Dash?
No, as we move ahead, before we move ahead for more the use cases, before I hand it over to Riley, we have another giveaway now, Christmas giveaway. This will be the AUVSI 1-year membership to AUVSI. So you don't have to be part of North Carolina chapter for that or anything. It's an AUVSI membership, has a lot of benefits. Visit auvsi.org and you'll see all the benefits that it provides. It's a $150 value for if you want to pay for it, and it's for students it's $50, but it's open to anyone anywhere in the world. So if you already have a membership, don't answer, even if you know the answer. You already have the membership, but let those who don't have the membership in this. So pretty simple question. When was AUVSI founded? 1962, 72, or 82? 3 choices. When was AUVSI? Okay, so Rob answered it right. It's 1972. So, okay, Rob, congratulations. You're the winner for that one.
Rob just said 72. That's
yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So what did we do here?
What is?
So we'll ask the question to Rob. Rob, do you have a AUVSI membership? If not, I'm passing it on to the next person.
I don't actually have an AUVSI membership.
Okay, so congratulations, you get the membership.
Awesome.
What's up, Rob?
So we have Nicole will reach out to you, and you will. So what is it? Rob is saying, what is 1972? That is the AUVSI membership. Did you know even?
He's answering Jeopardy form.
But okay, so Nicole will reach out to you and we'll give you the information. We'll connect you by email and everything, and you get 1-year membership. So congratulations, and I'll hand it over to Riley now.
All right, congratulations again, Rob. Moving right along, guys, we're making pretty good time right now. We're currently at 4:47, so we're making good time. We're going to swing back around to SenseFly again, and we are going to air video 8. So if Nicole, if you will please share video 8.
Birzu Henari is a private company working in the fields of surveying and geomatic engineering. This is to provide site plans and topographic maps for private companies and governmental institutions.
Actually, the company was decided to use SenseFly drones based on the results achieved in the My MSc thesis. Currently, the company employs the EB Plus drone for various projects, such as pipeline, highway, archaeological documentation, as well as for cadastral mapping. most recent projects executed by Berzo Hanari company. The first one is the corridor mapping of the oil export pipeline. The second one is the cadastral mapping. The third one is the oil production platform, which consists of a stockpile as well as a huge number of the randomly excavated pits.
Executed projects prove that EB Plus have great impact on company due to cost reduction, time saving, and high accuracy.
All right. So after that, the EB Effect video, my question for Troy is, will corridor mapping help move BVLOS operations forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not going to get away with that without some sort of sales plug. You know, the videos we've seen are from all over the world. So I just wanted to quickly hit, as a global company, I think we're just north of 80 dealers and partners across the world, right? So a lot of feedback that comes in through our products. And so along the way, Riley, to get back to your question, you know, it made sense for us to take the SOTA sensor and turn it sideways. So that made the SOTA corridor. And that is actually in a kit, right? A camera sensor kit. So it's not, you know, you just flipping it around. And along the way, you know, I think more to your point of the question on moving the needle on BVLOS, presently, some of that's being driven by market demand, which is really, really cool, because in chapter 1, it was kind of the same thing, but with State Farm, it was kind of the same thing. But now you're seeing a whole different application come into that, which is utilities. So when you think about power line, transmission line, that's corridor, right? And so there's a need for that to happen. And more to your point, that's in motion. I mean, that's set in motion kind of the next tranche for us, which is type certification, right? And that's all coming out of that need to be able to do long linear mapping, right? So not only do we have the sensor configuration for corridor mapping, I think it's also more important that, because it's all not just done with the sensor. And I think that sometimes that can be misleading, is that you get this sensor and you process it with Pix4D and that's it. That's not always the case. You know, there's still workflows that need to be tweaked and adjusted, right? And so we do a lot of work together with Pix4D and Parrot. You know, it's not uncommon for a Pix4D team member and a SenseFly team member to collaborate on how to streamline something to make it more efficient and make the ROI even more clear, so that a large enterprise utility customer can take advantage of that. When that happens, it all makes sense, and they say, hey, we need to fly BVLOS in order for this to happen, right? So you can see that pressure from the market pushing regulations as well. So the short answer is absolutely, along with other applications, right? Along with other applications, but the one that's kind of front and center right now would be utilities, is pushing that corridor piece. So
Absolutely. Thank you, Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Swinging back around to Pix4D, Nicole, if you will show video 9.
Riley, you just happy I had a short answer?
Oh, hey man, I'm here.
I'm really happy.
Nobody asked you, Chris.
Traditional methods of asset inspection are time-consuming, expensive, and even dangerous. Today, drones are rapidly making in-field inspections faster and more secure. But drone flights around infrastructure are complex, and data needs to be accurate and actionable. Meet Pix4D Scan and Pix4D Inspect, the automated solution for visual inspection and asset management from drone images. Pix4D's end-to-end solution unlocks a new set of tools for professionals in infrastructure management, both in the field and at the office. Pix4D Scan is developed by experts in photogrammetry and comes preloaded with missions designed for optimal 3D models and inspections. Execute efficient drone flights with a few taps and adjust your flight parameters to easily acquire the data that matters. After a successful mission, transform your data into highly accurate 3D models with Pix4D Inspect. Examine your asset with relevant and contextualized images and highlight, annotate, and categorize critical elements. Get measurements, image extraction, and object recognition all automatically thanks to dedicated AI algorithms. Then transform all your inspection comments into a ready-to-share report with a single click. Take full control of your portfolio and align with every stakeholder thanks to an always scalable, always available online platform. Power your visual inspections and asset management with Pix4D Scan and Pix4D Inspect.
All right, hold on. I have to, before you get going, I have to, we've all been super nice to each other as siblings, but I'm going to take a moment to tease Pix4D. You know, what's up with all these products, Chris? When's Pix4D Sandwich coming out?
I got that later. You just have to, we have to extend the show a little bit.
All right, cheesy joke. Keep going.
All right, Chris. Your question is really simple. We'll let you talk about those two products. And your question is, again, simple. Are there any active projects or pilot programs that you can talk about or even mention to us that are using Pix4D Inspect, and what can you share with us?
I don't think I have any reference accounts I can share with you yet. I can tell you we have dozens of people trying and trialing Pix4D Inspect. And it's really been interesting, you know, so I think you got a flavor from the video there. Inspection of it, the products are designed first to work with cell towers for cell tower inspection, but it also works for many other types. So we've got people looking at inspection for cell towers, but also for many different types of industrial systems, tanks, oil tanks, agricultural applications, building inspections, many different types. And one of the things that wasn't quite clear, but you know, Scan, there's two products, Scan and Inspect. Scan is a flight app that's designed to do the flights needed for inspection. And actually, one of the things I want to mention is we really designed Scan and Inspect to work in mind with the Onify USA. That's really our target platform. It's really amazing. Most people doing inspections today for cell towers and other industrial equipment are using pretty expensive quadcopters like Matrice 600s or 200s, you know, that are big and expensive and can easily crash, and you know, you lose money in those things in those kind of dense environments. The Onify being a small $1,000 drone is amazing. Also, the Onify can tilt the camera up so you can see, you saw some of the pictures of the cell tower, you can see the undersides of equipment from the Scan application. So it's really neat. It's using photogrammetry, but it's using it in a very unique way. We build a photogrammetric point cloud and use that as a reference, and you can use that to measure, but then you can do inspection based on the ray cloud and the actual images. So you can annotate, inspect, measure with the images in a very intuitive way, produce outputs in terms of reports and measurements. It also has a very unique machine learning capability. We can actually automatically detect the antennas on a cell tower, and more even, the algorithm will actually determine the orientation of the antennas, which is very important to cell tower operators. You have to know that the antenna is pointing the correct direction and be able to measure that within about 1 or 2 degrees to have some useful information. So that's been, it's really just started. We launched it in September, and we've been testing, developing with a whole host of different customers and service providers. Actually, there's kind of a lot of interest from both. both sets of both the end companies with the equipment, with the infrastructure, as well as the operators that are in the drone industry that are trying to support them. So it's been a really popular new application for us.
All right, thank you. So I think that sums up our videos until we got a little bit of a break before we show more videos. But our next question goes to FX with Parrot. And can you mention any additional use cases beyond public safety that you guys are collaborating with or partnering with at this time?
Yeah, so we have to put things into context. Anafi USA has been launched in June, announced in June. We actually producing and shipping first units since September. And so we actually building a lot of use cases right now. What's going on also is that and I was briefly talking about this, but we have an open source and very well documented SDK available where we partner. And so thanks to this SDK, we partner with different software companies in different verticals. And so I was talking about this. So of course, Pix4D is compatible with Anafi, but we've also confirmed several partnerships this year. DroneSense for public safety, Skyward, which is very strong in inspection, for construction, engineering, energy, utilities, oil and gas. We've also partnered with Drone Logbook, recently with UGCS, Survey, Kitty Hawk. I mean, quite a lot of partnership going on this year. So things are actually coming together between like the new platform being out now and being used, and all this partnership being finalized and the software is running. So we will have a lot of content on use cases for 2021, and these will be based on the Anafi USA new platform. So you stay tuned, it's coming.
FX, asking for a friend. Is it Anafi or Anafi?
I mean, I can't tell you with my French accent. It's complicated. In French, you would say Anafi. This is what I can say.
That's a great question, Troy. I was actually wondering the same thing. I think several of us have always asked, but we didn't know.
Well, Riley, if you and I were standing in a circle, three of us would say it differently, and all just wonder. So.
Well, they just look at me and say, "Well, he's from the South. We're not even going to talk to him about it."
It's a Greek island, basically, Anafi. So it's coming from somewhere. So I don't know how you named this island, but you would name the product the same way.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. So with that, we're going to give away another door prize. We'll give away our second pass to enter drone. And remember, for the response, you've got to type it in on the chat. So it will be the first person that can answer which is the first company in the U.S. to operate drone delivery for revenue. First company in the U.S. to operate drone delivery for revenue. And we've got several people. Is it John Lee? Is that?
I know that guy.
But he is John Lee. UPS. He's over there doing a dance. That's good, man.
Exactly.
I like to see the energy, man. I like to see the
energy.
Yeah.
I actually hung out with Eric. It was in Mesa when I met you, Riley, and Darshan, and the rest of the crew, and Sam, and yeah.
Well, hey, man, congratulations. We're glad you're online with us, and I appreciate you being here.
Good to see you,
Thanks.
John.
Good to see you, Troy.
Good job on that firefight the other day, by the way. That was
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's Amigos, right?
Yep, exactly.
Awesome.
I finally knew the answer, but I'm already going to enter drone, so I couldn't answer.
I didn't know how to
spell it.
Yes, or I would have put it in.
You could have just called and said, "I need a refund back." I know you're on the press pass, right? So if you don't have to complain. But yeah, congrats, John, and we have one more giveaway. a little later. I think that, yeah, the last one is another inter-drone pass. So
We have to double check John, though. I mean, as tech savvy as he is, he probably already had an auto answer set up. I mean, you got to check your firewalls, everybody.
So as we move ahead,
I'm just a knuckle dragger like you, man.
What do you say, John?
I'm just a knuckle dragger like Troy.
Now, if anyone has any questions at this time related to anything these companies, the three companies are doing, does not have to be related to the videos. This is the best time to get it clear. Maybe you want to know about something specific. Let me know if you can pose the question or just unmute and ask the question. We'll give it a minute if someone wants to.
I know Chris said he was going to go into it a little bit later. Are you going to cover Pix4D Catch?
Yes, so he's going to be covering that. So that's why we're moving into Catch, and then also one of the case study that he's done. So I think I'll move ahead. So let's. Let me call Chris. Chris, can we talk about the case study for firefighters? Do you want me to post the link, or are you going to be doing it?
I can do it if I can share my screen. Let me do it.
Sure. Nicole, can you give permission to Chris to share a screen?
All right, everybody see that? Let me start with the. I'm going to get to the use case, but I want to start with Pix4D Catch, which is part of the use case. And Pix4D Catch, you're going to see this here, is a new handheld system for photogrammetry. So very simple to capture the scene with your iPhone or iPad. Upload to the cloud or export to Pix4D Mapper. And generate a 3D serial dataset.
Very cool.
So Catch is our new application that we just released a few months ago, and it really works with Pix4D Cloud. I think you may have also seen this past year we've always had some cloud capability. This last year we split those out as separate products, Pix4D Cloud and Pix4D Cloud Advanced. So you can buy just the cloud, or you can buy Mapper, or you can buy those together as a bundle now. So we have people doing both. But Catch works either with the cloud, so you can very easily upload to the cloud and process there, or it's the same processing basically that you get from a drone, but here you're collecting the imagery in handheld. And then, or you can export it as files to your desktop and run it in Pix4D Mapper. What's really unique about the Catch application is it uses the new iPhone and iPad, iPhone 12 and iPad LiDAR sensor. So it uses that inherently as part of the hybrid processing scheme to produce a three-dimensional data set. It uses photogrammetry and the LiDAR as part of the processing. Now, if you have an older iPhone or iPad, it actually still works, just as photogrammetry only. So you can see both. But let me show you a use case for this. And we think there's a lot of use cases that I'm really interested in getting feedback from customers, because it's still early. But we have a use case here from the Richmond Fire Department, Richmond, Indiana, not Virginia. And they're using Mapper, and they're using for basically documenting fire scenes, fire sites. And then they've also started using Catch. I'll show you how. But you can see this on our website, and there's actually a data set in here you can view right in the web page. But I'm going to switch over to how do I do this? Here's the 3D data set. So this was produced in Pix4D Mapper. Everybody can see this okay?
Yes.
So you can see they modeled the outside of the house with the small drone. I don't know if I have to read the data set if it was Probably wasn't on the USA, but it should be, because I think this was before they released it. But you can see get quite good results on this kind of thing from a in terms of a 3D data set. But of course, you can't see inside the house. So what they did is they used Catch, and they went inside and mapped the interior as well. And so here's the inside, and this was captured from imagery from an iPhone. Right? And with this, you can go in and measure and annotate just as you would any other data set. But if I want to know how big this table was, 3.4 feet, right? And how tall is it?
Well, it was bigger.
He might have been bigger before, yeah.
That's
So
a bad
how
joke.
tall is it?
That's a bad joke.
Yeah, how big is the doorway, right? And you're able to get accurate measurements in the same ways. Now, obviously, you're not going to fly this inside the building with the drone, but it makes a lot of sense. So, we've got a lot of potential
cool.
use applications, right?
Very, very cool.
Kind of thing. And it's the same processing engine. So one of the beauties of it is that, actually the Catch app is free. And today it runs on any iPhone device, any modern iPhone, I think from 6 on up. But it likes the new iPad Pro with LiDAR and the iPhone 12 with LiDAR. iPhone 12 Max, I forget what they call it, the one that's got the LiDAR sensor built in. And a whole host of applications. It's good at looking things that are down. It doesn't do too well looking up, but it does really good at looking at dirt for like excavation, construction. Imagine you've got an excavation site going and you want to see, while it's open, you can scan it at the end of the day, see what's in there, with the pipe repaired or broken. Fill in the dirt, you still have a visual record that you can measure from what was under the ground, what you covered back up. For accident reconstruction, we've got police officers they'll typically use a drone for collision scenes to map the whole scene, but then you might want to go and do some very detailed stuff on the ground and measure three-dimensional objects and locations, even vehicles and crumpling and things of that nature using a handheld. So it gives you the combination of both. Of course, what we really love about this is drones are great, but it takes a pilot license. You need to fly under Part 107. Taking out your iPhone and walking around the object takes no license. Everyone's got an iPhone, so really cool.
And if I'm not wrong, Chris, this could be a great asset for NTSB compared to the other products. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be used by those kind of people, for documenting any type of accident or crime scene. It just makes so much sense because you can measure with it. And it gives you it doesn't show it in this data set, but you actually have the photographs here too, so you can go back and look at the photographs as well. You can process in Mapper if you need to do real detailed things. You can even do volumetrics. So if I've got piles or holes in the ground, you can scan it with your phone and measure the volumes as well as areas and distances. So an extremely versatile tool. And you think about how many applications like that are out there. If you could do it now that you guys all have drones, but sometimes it's just not worth flying a drone. And I would also say I didn't really demo too much the app, but the app is extremely easy to use. You basically point it, you click record, you walk around, and you want to do a fairly slow pattern, but it automatically takes the photographs with the correct amount of overlap to capture a scene. So you don't have to be click, 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 with like you would with a still camera taking photographs or with your phone. You just move around like you're taking video. It captures the video. It captures frames, images with the proper overlap to make sure you can do the photogrammetric detail. It also shows you the LiDAR. So the LiDAR works for about depth of 15 feet, which will give you a rough model of what you're capturing that gets integrated into the scene in the end.
Really amazing stuff.
So it's kind of going back to the roots. I mentioned earlier, Pix4D, when they invented the algorithm for Mapper, they didn't really know it would work. It would be just for drones. It didn't, there wasn't too much of a business buying drones, small drones around. It was kind of a hobbyist thing. and drones took off, but now we're kind of going back to the roots and taking advantage of new technology from Apple.
Well, we've been saying, everybody's been saying for years, it's not the drone, it's the data, right? So now you're like a drone company that's gone beyond drones.
Well, I'm still going to dress up like a drone if I capture by hand.
Okay, I'll show you my holiday cheer picture. So here's an example of a snowman. This was
That's cool.
Guys in Switzerland.
He doesn't seem to be happy. That's the only thing. There's no cheers over there.
It's not the best snowman, but it's a pretty good model, I have to say.
Lots of buttons.
So there's a question that came up from
Super
Jay
cool.
Cohen. Can we compare your products with Agisoft MetaShape? Do you want to do that?
Can we? Well, Agisoft is a good product. Most of you probably know it's made in Russia, so that right there is maybe a strike against it in the U.S., but it's a very good product. I think there's a lot of equivalence now. I think some of the things that set us apart is support and training. That's one of the reasons that people really love our products, is that you go on our website, you Google, you can find a video, a tutorial, a support page that tells you how to do just about anything. And you also have thousands and thousands of users using Pix4D Mapper that, colleagues or experts in the field that you can reach out to, Pix4D community, Facebook page, outside of Pix4D, as well as Pix4D support. So, those are some of the things that set us apart. We continue to develop the products. We support the widest range of drones. I think we have the most accurate product on the marketplace, and we prove it every day with our accuracy report. So you can get accuracy for the whole project or down to individual measurements. So there's a number of things that still set us apart. And I think lastly, ease of use, in combination with the training and support that we offer for the product. It's a really elegant, intuitive product for use. So those are some of the things that set us apart in the industry and continue to make us the leader, with many different industries. And like I say, for us at working at Pix4D, we really enjoy it every day. We have so many customers coming to us every day with new problems and new ideas from new industries. It's really exciting to have a product that really can do all those things in an accurate and effective way. So,
Chris, it's John, and I just want to follow up with him while we're talking about this. Price points.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk MSRP for a moment.
Sure.
Compared to Agisoft, I know the standard, which I use and my partner uses, the Pro version. The standard is I think it's like 180, right? It does very little. I mean, you're lucky if it could take a picture and map it. But the Pro, it's got some really great features, as you know. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that MSRP is about $3,500. Now, what I've seen you do with your products is you kind of split them up. You've done. I was very impressed when I saw all these laid out for different parts of the industry. I think that was a great move, and it started to get me very interested in Pix4D. But when we first got into this, God, that program was really expensive. So where are we now in these price points?
Well, a good question. We do have a lot of different products now. Our basic Pix4D Mapper product comes in 2 flavors. We still offer a perpetual license, which is probably the best value and the one that's the most popular for government and public safety and government users in general. They like to buy a product forever. That product, we have reduced the price quite a bit. It's now $4,990. So it used to be quite a bit more back in the day. That's a perpetual license. After that, if you choose, you can get support and upgrades on a yearly basis for $500. So that's kind of where we stand. We have a yearly license that's offered as a subscription. It's either monthly or yearly, actually. So it's $350 a month, or it's $3,500 per year for Pix4D Mapper.
Does that give you access to the other apps as well, or just the 3D Mapper?
It does not, and we're working on, we do have some bundles. Like this month, we've introduced a special bundle where we're adding Survey and Matic, so you can use Mapper for the basics. And if you want Survey for vectorization and Matic for large scale, Normally, those are sold separately. If you buy them all together, you can, if you're a new customer, you can get the whole bundle for the price, yearly license for $5,000 for 1 year. If you want to get, if you're an existing Mapper customer, you can add those other 2 products for $2,500.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, some things, you know, the cloud, we broke that off separately, and there are a couple different versions of cloud as subscriptions. It's available monthly or a yearly subscription. And there's cloud and cloud advanced. Cloud advanced has some advanced features with the timeline and some overlays and other things. Starting at $1,900 a year for cloud. And so that you can buy that separately. You get a deal if you buy that with Mapper. So you can process on the desktop with Mapper, or process in the cloud, or exchange products back and forth, you know, start on one, upload to share on the other, process in the cloud, download it to Mapper to do advanced engineering. And as a combination, that's pretty unique to be able to go back and forth, take your pick, cloud or desktop processing.
Do we reach out to you if we want to buy direct? Do we reach to you or somebody else?
Well, we do have an online store. We have some great reseller partners. In fact, even SenseFly is a reseller. They sell a lot of our products bundled with the EB. But we have a dealer network. You can buy online, or you can reach out to sales@pixsporty.com. There's a contact us on the website, which will come to my team, and we have some specialists that can help you with understanding, you know, what to buy, how to buy, what's the best deal, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's one of the big things. Is it's kind of, I'd say we really enjoy this from us, you know, me being in sales. You know, we have people coming to us from all industries. This last year, we introduced 6 new products. And people go, oh, what is it? What do I get? Somebody told me I need Pixport E. What do I buy? And it's kind of fun because we're talking to customers all the time. And, you know, having a sales team, we can actually work with our customers and tell them, you know, what it is that works for them best. So we enjoy that.
Chris, your video is gone. I think mistakenly it's gone off.
Oh, my video has? Oh, how'd that happen?
I think
maybe that's because I'm sharing. I don't know.
Just on share and just see.
My back? All right. I don't know why it cut me out. Okay.
You can just press start video. If you...
Oh, now it's not letting me.
Wait, I think
you cannot start your video because the host stopped it.
Oh, okay. There may be a mistake from Nicole. Can you see if you can put the video back on? I think she didn't like your face, I think. No, so I think one more question came up from John Lee about, yeah, Chris, you're back, about Catch. John, would you want to ask the question?
Hey, Chris, is it on the timeline to be able to combine data sets from aerial to, I won't get into the technical stuff of tie points and stuff like that, but is it on the timeline to be able to combine the data sets?
That's a really good question, John. And something it's not there yet, but it's definitely on our roadmap and looking the best way to combine things. You know, you can effectively do it in Mapper, processing multiple projects and putting them together. So, you know, if you've got a Mapper desktop, it'll do it. You know, what we're working on is ultimately to be able to combine those in interesting ways with cloud. I think one of the things that's really fun with Catch is it's so darn easy. You just capture everything. You click one button, it uploads to the cloud. Even on my cell phone with 4G, it typically takes a minute for a small project to upload.
I got it right. I got it right here.
Yeah, and then it's processing. You know, for small projects, you know, it might take 15 minutes. Large projects might take an hour or two. But you know, in the cloud, that's really fun. But we are looking at how do we combine those into, you know, with other data sets. So like the project we had here, you know, the 2 data sets are different, the exterior and the interior captures.
Yep.
You know, but you can certainly see a lot of applications where, boy, I'd like to be able to put these together and see them together as layers or whatever, right? So we'll be working on that.
I'd like to reach out to you offline. I've done several projects already. I think probably in the neighborhood of like 20. The latest one that I did was, I'm a wildland firefighter, and we did I won't talk about it too much, but we're doing an investigation of the cause of the fire. And so I wanted to show the capabilities of Catch, and I had some really, really weird artifacts, and unfortunately the data set's unusable. But I think it might have been user error in some way, shape, or form. But so I want to talk to you about that. But yeah, the capabilities that I saw, you know, I went out and bought an iPad right away, and jumped right in. It's been awesome so far.
Thanks, John. Yeah, we're glad to talk to you. Just send me a note, and you know, one of my engineers here in Denver has been doing a lot with users with Catch, so I'd definitely like to get your feedback and see what we do to help you out.
Is there a user manual that I haven't been able to find much documentation on, and best case, because there's a couple different ways to do the capture, whether it's the device pose or the, I forget the other one off the top of my head, but if there's a user manual or something like that you can point me to or point us to.
Yeah, right now there's not a full-fledged user manual, but there's some nice support documents online that will walk you through the basics. And there's a couple of tricks, things that it works better for and less good for. So there's some, you know, it's not quite foolproof, but you know, it makes you think it is sometimes. That.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
So as we move ahead, we have about 30 minutes remaining. So there's some questions which we want to go into, which is not directly related to the product itself, but about the drone industry as such. So 2020, the year 2020 has been tough for many companies, and it could be business-wise, it could be partnership-wise, it could be workforce, everything. So each of the companies here would like to know a little bit about what has 2020 been for you all, how it's impacted your operations or business, and with that, even how has it impacted your workforce, and coming to the point about if people want to work in for your part of your company and stuff, because you guys, you know, have been in the industry for about 10 years, and you know, this is the industry where people want to get into. How do they need to position themselves, and where do they find the jobs and everything? So can I start with Troy? Troy?
Okay, cool. Yeah, 2020, wow. And I won't say the words, right? Because we all know what's gone on there. As far as impact goes, you know, our product and our customers, we're still very relationship based, right? And getting in front of people. So that obviously was a challenge. And I think everybody's learning how to do this virtual engagement better. And actually, I've heard some really neat stuff that's come out of virtual engagement in general for another topic. But ultimately, you know, pros and cons. There's always some positives out of every scenario. Probably more difficult to find some in 2020. But I think from an industry standpoint, what I found were more program conversations, right? As different organizations started to look at priorities. In some cases, maybe drones slid down on priority because you need to, you know, keep those resources into the center of the company to stay going, right? And then in other companies that were already headed that way, it bumped up in priority. My dog thought so as well. It bumped up in priority. And so it was really a good time to sit down and outline what's going to be needed to be successful in 21 on that enterprise and program level. So I thought that was really interesting. And then it's kind of geographic, right? I mean, and there was an election, and we won't get into that, but I mean, it was a really wild year. But geographically, some places were more open, some places were more closed off, right? So our team is pretty scrappy, just as every single company that's here on this webinar. You know, we're very scrappy. So for the sales side of thing and relationship side, we're fairly used to being remote anyway, because we travel a lot. And as you can tell, we talk a lot, right? So keeping those relationships going were key. And then hopping on that plane and kind of crossing your fingers, you know, in a sense. I mean, that was the case earlier on. But I was happy to be fortunate enough to get out into the world still, and took advantage of that where we could. And so we got, you know, a lot of work done in the ag sector, right? Where it's, more open air and people want to come out to a more, I guess, less populated area and those types of things. So we took opportunity where it was available. I think that the environment, you know, I don't know, obviously, like when this will change and those types of things, but I think the virtual engagement is something that everybody's used to now. And seeing that improve and different ways to interact will be interesting long beyond the words I'm not going to say because I'm just tired of saying them, I'm tired of hearing them. But anyway, all in all, was very, very fortunate to have such great partners because that's the other piece to us, right? As Chris mentioned, we have partners, we have distributors, we have people that make their living supporting and providing our product. And so I was super, super humbled and proud to have such strong partners. Otherwise, things could have been worse. So,
what about the workforce as such? Were you able to hold on to your workforce? Did you all do any hiring this year, or are you all planning to do some hiring? This is for the future workforce to give them more information. How do they be a part of SenseFly?
For sure. So unfortunately, no. You know, we weren't in a position to grow staff, right? That's typically what we do. If we have that need, we're still not U.S. made. You know, a lot of that production and everything goes on in Switzerland. So the U.S. team is 14 people, right? And so we have those repairs. So we're very lean and mean. Maybe not mean, that's the wrong way of saying it. We're a very lean operation, right? So yes, we weren't in a position to grow that staff here in the US, but yeah, let's see what the future brings us from production standpoints and those types of things. So,
and especially with working remotely and stuff, there could be opportunities coming up that you could be anywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big part of it, you know, but I am completely and entirely looking forward to being able to be back in front of the customer and being back in front of large groups of people and talking about this amazing tech. So until then.
Sure. And one last thing is internships, especially for college students, high school. Right now, Riley and even Paul, we three are part of the North Carolina High School Drone Advisory Committee and stuff. So the question comes up is internships. Do you all offer internships?
We do.
If so, how do they reach out to you all?
We do. And typically we post that, right? And we've had 2 rounds of internships over this last year. So that's been satisfied at the moment, but you may see something at the turn of the year because those internship programs are successful. And that means we need another intern as they go on to do other things. So yes, stay tuned and always be scanning that LinkedIn jobs page or AUVSI if you guys are posting jobs, right? So I'll just say stay tuned on that, but we are open to internships.
Perfect. FX, are you there? Yeah, let me see FX first. I have everyone's camera. I'm just looking. Yeah, FX, right. So
yeah.
So FX, the same question to you for 2020. What has been the company's strategy to continue operations and stuff and jobs, workforce? What is the message to them and how do they get involved with Parrot as a whole?
So yeah, well, I mean, like Troy, 2020 has been, challenging somehow. It's very unprecedented, but anyway, we had to adapt. And I think, well, most of us are used to work remote. That's good enough, but we're not used to. I mean, part of us sales business development role is very much to create contact and see people and it's a big part of the job. And so we've been missing that a bit this year, but it brought some great things too. I mean, Parrot in France has been actually supporting a cool project where we supported the French medical profession to face the COVID-19 by sharing the Mac Air open source respirator project, and we actually supplied to them about 500 engines, drones engines, in order to for them to develop respirators. It was kind of a startup in France that was building these things along with the COVID to help with the shortage of respirators at the beginning of the pandemic, like around April. So again, it's funny to see And I mean, Paris is an R&D company. You know, at the end of the day, we have several hundreds of engineers in Paris, and so I like the way we took the opportunity to support and help the community with what we could, which is technology, and support this forward. So it was kind of a good thing happening besides the complicated situation. And one of the big success we had also this year, even if it's been complicated, is actually to implement a new process of production in the USA, because as a matter of fact, we cannot fly too many engineers in the US because of the travel ban. So this is kind of like complicated, and Neotech is a very stringent manufacturer plant, so under ITAR. So all of these, I mean, implementing a new production in a foreign country, in the USA, from France, in an ITAR facility is kind of a challenge, but we overcame it. So that's good. So, you know, it's been up and down, but 2020 overall is a good year for the industry. I think a lot of things and parts are still moving. People just had to adapt. It's not as fun because we can't have, you know, events and live meetings and so on, but it will be back. It's just a matter of time, you know. It's okay. Vaccines are on their way. It's gonna be okay.
What about in US? Are you is the company building a workforce? Are they going to be hiring in the next year or two, or is it going to be still taking time to build a workforce, and about internships and all with Parrot?
So workforce, I mean, in terms of production, we actually not having directly production workforce ourselves. So we're working through partners, which is the case with Neotech. And in general, Parrot Drones, with Parrot Group is pretty lean organization. The industry, you know, in this industry, if there is one thing that is challenging is actually to make profit overall. And when actually pushing the boundaries of technologies, being on the software or hardware side of things, we need to keep highs very close to the top line and the bottom line. And when top line is vanity, maybe vanity, bottom line is sanity, as we say. And so we very much focused on keeping the organization lean. Having said that, we are growing the team a bit in the US, as we have an open position for sales right now for key account manager, in order to grow the sales and the distribution channels and so on. But we're keeping the organization pretty lean.
Okay, thank you. Chris, question to you. Same thing.
Sure. Well, yeah, 2020 was an interesting year. I felt like we had some advantages being a software company that the hardware companies didn't have. So, you know, but it was still a really challenging year for us. You know, I don't know if you know, but our headquarters is in Lausanne, Switzerland, and we have offices in Berlin, Madrid, Tokyo, and Sichuan, China. And so we've got quite a few folks, and we pretty much kept everything together for this year, but it was a big change, especially our development offices in Lausanne and Madrid and Berlin, because they pretty much had to work remote, whereas, you know, they were working like engineers do often in an office. So it was a big change for us this year. And we had to hunker down and get through that. In the US, we had a good year. It was, you know, I think we felt blessed that we were in a, you know, with software product, we were in an industry that kept going through this. So we were expecting this year, I think I said in the beginning, to be a year where things really took off in the drone industry. And I think most people felt, you know, most people got through it, but it wasn't the growth that we expected. So we did pretty well this year. We're hiring right now. We're just about to make a hire for our channels sales manager in the US. And I think we will have a couple more hires in the sales team next year. Things keep going the way they're going.
And internships, do you offer internships also?
We haven't done internships in the past. Yeah, I might think about that this year. Things, if we could get somebody in person, it didn't make any sense last year,
Yeah.
bring somebody in on video on Zoom for an internship or something, but I could see maybe doing that if we can get back in person this year. So we'll see.
Sure. Thanks. Riley, handing it over to you.
All right, thank you. So we did have one question in the chats, and that was for Darshan and I to talk about the program where we are donating drones to public safety agencies, and that's very simple. Nicole maybe can provide a link in the chat to what we're doing, but it's very simple. We're working with agencies just like you're hearing from today, and they are partnering with us for public safety needs and public safety outreach to donate, packages to selected groups. To be selected as that group, it's very easy. You fill out a few questions for our AUVSI North Carolina chapter. We have a panel of folks that go over those, and they select winners. If you are not selected, you automatically go in the next round. So it's not like we're just throwing you out and you have to reapply for this. But again, it costs you nothing other than time and some information from your agency. It is literally that simple. Again, we are not partnering with any one set platform or agency. We're getting them from all over the place, and we're very thankful for that. But very, very easy to do, and I'm sure we can get you that information. So any public safety agency can apply and let us know what they're doing. If you are a public safety agency and you already have units and a program in place, that's fine. That does not disqualify you from receiving a free drone or a package. We're just, we'll review it and go over it. And again, that committee will make the selection. So it's really simple.
And you can also, just to add, it's not just the ways you can, as an industry or as an individual, you can participate in this and help the public safety agency is not just by providing money, but also donating your drone. So you can donate your older drones that you're not using, or you can buy a brand new drone and give. We just want to make sure that all public safety agencies have drones. Now, when I say donate a drone, you may donate a drone which flies but is not in the best working condition. That's fine. We'll still take it and we'll provide it to student organizations for them to practice, use it for practice flying, for running this drone clubs and stuff. So that's really our second initiative, wherein we are creating student ambassadors. So, with the student ambassadors, we would like to provide them with drones that they can, show for demonstration and stuff, which is mainly purely for education. So you can be a part of this initiative through donating a drone, giving in, money, or even actually buying a drone and providing. So this year we have been able to give 2 Skydios, 1 Parrot NFE thermal, and a Mavic Enterprise. So this year, I would say it's a pretty good year for those agencies. They had no drone prior to this and no drone program also. So we also help create 4 drone programs in North Carolina just from August to this year. So looking forward to next year, and it's needed. All your support is needed. Now with PIX4D, the Donator Drone program can no longer be called Donator Drone program. It has to be called Donator Technology or Software program now. But that's the thing. It's not limited to one single thing. Whatever can benefit public safety agencies, we want to give them. So if you have ideas, if you have softwares, if you have anything you want to give away as a company or as an individual, let us know. We will find the right person.
So guys, as we wrap up, we will definitely make sure, I know in the chat section, we will definitely get you some contact information and more information about what we're doing on that program. But again, it's through our AUVSI North Carolina chapter. With that, I just want to make a couple quick statements. One, to piggyback off of what Darshan said, here in North Carolina, and I know in all your other places that everybody's representing today, there are agencies and entities that are in dire need of drones. They can't afford them. They don't know what to do as far as how that even works to get one. And we're not just talking about public safety. Again, I do a lot with public safety. I do a lot with the universities and the community college system here in our state. But we are also here in North Carolina, AUVSI, North Carolina, Darshan, Paul, we are all on the board of the North Carolina school system, the K-12 school system, to where we are now working with STEM and CT education. and they are really trying to get drones in the hands of high schoolers and middle schoolers. I sat down with a middle school or a high school and a middle school yesterday who are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on drones. And I was lucky enough to be an advisor for them to kind of point them in certain directions. And the three companies that we're talking about with today will be happy to know that they're buying your products because I was telling them that, you know, we just go with what works and what's good and the companies that are really, really beneficial to us. So of course they're buying Pix4D software. They're buying Parrots, and in the long run, I know not to leave Troy out, but in the long run, this was their first grant. They're going to start spending big money to get things like the DJI Agras, the SenseFly, the EB, things like that. But they're rolling out. They're only spending around $100,000, $50,000 to $100,000 to begin with, and then they're going to roll out. Now, this is just one school district here in our county, or one in our county, which is the center of North Carolina, is very rural. So it's a big deal. I say all that to get to the point is if you have drones that are older, or you're going to be buying new drones or different things like that, we're not telling you to give it to AUVSI North Carolina. We're not telling you to give it to public safety, but definitely keep high schools in mind, keep middle schools in mind. They will greatly appreciate that. And there's so much that they can do with them for education in their areas. So just keep that in mind. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap up quickly here. We're gonna do our last giveaway. Again, make sure you type the answer in, and it's very simple. This is our last giveaway for the last Interdrone ticket, the last Interdrone ticket. The question is, which agency won a humanitarian award for hurricane response from AUVSI last year? Which agency won a humanitarian award for hurricane response from AUVSI last year?
John, you already won once. So Rob, you also. So Miguel Miguel just puts it on top.
He says, look up.
Look up. So Miguel is from NCDOT. That's why he says I don't count. But Miguel, that does not mean anything. You know, Rob and both Rob and John already won a Christmas giveaway. So technically, you win. We didn't put any restrictions that you cannot be a part of the company or organization that won it. So Miguel, congratulations. You kept it short but perfectly. You said, look up. That's good.
Troy or I could have guessed that. Come on, we knew the answer.
So I don't know, Miguel, are you attending the Interdrone? If you're not attending, then it's 15th to 17th, and it's a $250 pass, which you get for free, and you can attend at your own time and convenience. I think there's recordings and all those things, so you don't have to give it away to anyone else. You can enjoy it.
I appreciate it. I don't mind if it goes to someone else, though.
Yeah. Okay. He's putting it on sale right now, so let's start bidding for the ticket. Let's make it good. Now, but Miguel was part of the team for the hurricane response, so that's why he says it may not be fair. But you know, it's again comes back to the thing is that it's a fun giveaway, and Miguel was part of the hurricane response for Hurricane Florence, and you know, it was an amazing time, not for the people who had to go through it, but as a team, we all worked, you know, pretty well, and the humanitarian award was a great, you know, help for us to, you know, see our efforts were paid off eventually. So, Miguel, congratulations, and Nicole will reach out to you. It's good to see you. Riley, back to you.
So it's 5:50, and before I turn it over to Dash for his final comments and things, I want to sincerely thank all three of our presenters today for being a part of this. I know it's been a long evening spending your Friday from 3 to 6 with us, but we greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate everything that you're doing for the drone industry, everything that you've done so far. It does not go unnoticed. I know you guys are told from various different folks all the time, thank you. But thank you from AUVSI North Carolina. We can't thank you enough.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
So I just want to say, let me just say, I really appreciate you inviting us, Riley and Darshan. And I miss North Carolina. I'm from Virginia, and I think the last time I got to go was the Drone Summit 2 summers ago. So I was supposed to go to the Outer Banks for vacation this summer. I didn't get to go, so can't wait to get back there for real. But thanks for giving us a taste of North Carolina hospitality.
No, I really, really appreciate it. And as I said, we know each other for quite some time. And the best thing about this is I know all three of you all might have been apprehensive about 3-hour session, but this is what happens. We have a good conversation and 3 hours passes by pretty fast. And really, we had some more questions we didn't even go through because this is what happens. But let me just end it. First of all, everyone who's here, thank you for coming, and have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But as we leave, I want each of the presenter to just give us some information about 2021 that people should be excited about, that you want to reveal it here by any chance. Something is coming up. We don't have to give the name or anything, but something here is coming up and they need to be excited. We can start from Chris.
Well, I guess look for our next release of Pix4D Catch within a couple weeks here. We're actually going to have integrated LiDAR processing with the iPad 12, and so it'll be some extra new features there. Most excited about, but you'll see some other really exciting. I think the questions before about Inspect use cases and users. I think you're going to see a lot of that coming out this year with Inspect. So we're really excited about several of the new products, but those two are at top of my list.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you. Troy.
I appreciate it, and thanks again, and for everybody else that hung out with us too. Great appreciation to be here, and also very awesome to be able to do this with Pix4D and Parrot. Really cool. Didn't want to miss the opportunity to let everybody know. It's probably more targeted toward that surveying piece, but right now you can trade in your old working or non-working, like that's huge, your non-working survey equipment. That's total stations, laser scanners, GNSS high precision, receiver bases, rovers, handheld GNSS datas. I mean, go nuts and get up to $5,000 of trade-in value toward a SenseFly EBX with RTK. That's a really strong offer. It's something that we've never done before. That's going outside of that trade your drone in, and this is looking at that equipment in your office and saying, could that be an EBX? So I just wanted to take the opportunity to pass that to everybody. And stay tuned for the turn of the year. Really wanted to be able to offer something bigger for this event, but is just right on around the corner of some pretty cool announcements in January. So stay tuned on that side. And yeah, that's all I have with the little cliffhanger there. So take care, everybody, and hope you have happy holidays as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Troy. And once Troy confirms the news, we will share it with everyone, and we are excited about it as well. The ad which he mentioned about the promo about the drone exchange and everything, we will share it to everyone who has registered, and we'll send it through newsletter. So look for it. FX, I kept you in the end because I need to first thank you for being part of the Donated Drone program. The drone is in the safe hands of Gaston County Police Department, and they are really excited about it. And the main thing about this is how they're going to use it, how they're going to be involved in giving their feedback and all to FX and his team is important. And that is where there will be an onboarding soon, and I know FX, you'll be there, and Chris, you'll also be there for that. So we're looking forward to that. But FX, what is 2021, and what should people be excited about with NFE or with something else? Are you coming up with something else?
Well, so, there is always things in the cooking, but we never very much comment this beforehand. But no, I mean, 2021 is going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a good year. We've made a lot of good progress this year on different side of things, being the manufacturing side of things, being the partnerships and so on. And we'll see all these pieces coming together and results of it very early 2021. NFE USA is a big success, and we actually shipping them each week to different type of customers and so on. So we will have more and more feedback, more and more use cases. So that's going to be very exciting. Yeah, a lot of things to come. New partnerships, potentially new products at some point. I mean, a lot of things in the cooking. So 2021 will be definitely exciting for sure.
And FX brought a good point up, and you got to be super careful as a manufacturer when you say things like I just said before I kill the rest of my December sales. What I was alluding to is stay tuned for some really cool stuff around training. All right. So I just take advantage of that offer. Don't wait.
Thank you, FX. Thank you, Troy. So, folks, on today's session, be sure to be a part of the social media pages of all the companies if you're not already a part of. Also, look for Chris, FX, and Troy on social media, so that way you can be updated first on what's happening. If you're not a part of AUVSI North Carolina a social media page, please be a member of it. Just join the social media page. If you're not a member of AUVSI, that's not a problem. But we urge you to become a member of AUVSI North Carolina. From my team, we are really signing off for this year. We had a great 2020, though it was remote. One thing we regret was last year's Christmas special where we had with SenseFly and Troy. He made some amazing cookies. The EB cookies, I don't know, that is one of the best cookies I've eaten, and I had a bag full of them which I took away. I think he saw many missing, so that was me. Sorry, Troy. 1 year later, I had to apologize for that.
I promise you I didn't make them. They wouldn't have been good if I did.
But yeah, the in-person things, we do miss that, and this year has been has kept us apart, all of us. But I think with these type of events, it has brought everyone together in some way, has kept us current with the industry. A lot of things happening, a lot of changes happening. 2020 was supposed to be an amazing year. But if you look at it, technically, we can still call it an amazing year because we have survived the pandemic, and we are floating. Important thing is to stay afloat. Even if you cannot go up, it's important to stay afloat. And I think that's the main thing about this, and also the partnerships and collaborations that we have done. I think we haven't spoken to each other so long, even in person, than during these events. So it's for next year we have an exciting calendar which we will be revealing soon, early January mostly, but we will be continuously doing sessions like this. We'll be connecting with companies like SenseFly, Pix4D, and Parrot and everything, and bringing out the new technologies out there, letting you all know how to be a part of a job market and the industry overall. So our website is auvsinc.org. Please visit it. Our email is ncauvsi@gmail.com. We are all on social media. So we would like to connect with you all. If you all are doing something exciting with drones and Christmas, please tag us, AUVSI-NC, or even just post it on our social media. But have a safe and happy New Year and a Merry Christmas also. So take care, everyone. And as Troy says, the happiest Christmas.